Warm greetings, Mulibwanji, Sanbonani, and welcome back to the Izuka podcast with Nzai. In today's podcast, we'll delve into the concept of modernity in Africa, inspired by Francis B. Nyamnjoh's insightful paper, Incompleteness, Frontier Africa, and the Currency of Conviviality. Nyamnjoh explores the dynamic sense of being and becoming that characterizes African modernity. He argues that African personhood and reality transcends human experiences, encompassing interconnectedness that include human and non-human, animate and inanimate, visible and invisible forms. And this worldview emphasizes the fluidity and potential inherent in incompleteness, providing a fresh lens through which to understand identity and existence. Now, most African societies viewed the universe as dynamic and interconnected, right? So humans are seen as evolving beings and continuously shaped by relationships with ancestors, spirits, the environment, nature, and relationships, right? And this system acknowledges incompleteness as a shared condition, fostering reliance on ancestral and indigenous wisdom to navigate the present and prepare for the future. And a compelling metaphor for this idea is the philosophy of Ubuntu, for example, which I think encapsulated in the phrase "I am because we are." Ubuntu underscores interconnectedness, suggesting that personhood is fluid and enriched through relationships, right? And it invites us to embrace incompleteness as a shared human condition that fosters cooperation, mutual care, and interdependence, right? And Nyamnjoh's reflections are vividly illustrated through the oral traditions. Consider the Ashanti tales of Ananse the spider. So Ananse sought to gather all the wisdom in the world and climbed to the heavens to ask Nyame, the sky god, for the wisdom, right? And Nyame granted him a clay pot containing universal knowledge with the warning. And he said, wisdom is never complete when kept in one place. Okay. And driven by greed, Ananse tied the pot to his chest to keep it for himself. And struggling to climb down a tree, he ignored advice from his son, Tikuma, to tie the pot to his back. And only after repeatedly failing did Ananse follow his son's suggestion and realize his mistake. Even with all the world's wisdom, he needed help. Ashamed, he smashed the pot, scattering wisdom for everyone to share. And this story emphasizes the shared nature of knowledge and the value of humility. It aligns with the notion of incompleteness, illustrating that no single person can possess all wisdom, right? And Nyamnjoh's idea are further enriched by literary works such as Amos Tutuola's The Palm Wine Drinkard. This surreal tale follows a man's journey into the spirit world to retrieve his late tapster, whose skill sustained his idyllic life. The narrative collapses boundaries between the natural and the supernatural, the rational and superstitious, reflecting Africa's historical and spiritual dualities, right? In Tutuola's universe exists existence is fluid. People and things can transform based on context and necessity. And this world defies Cartesian rationalism, portraying a reality where incompleteness signifies boundless potential. So the protagonist's journey underscores the importance of moderation, human connections, and growth through lived experiences. Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart also offers a compelling exploration of Africa's transition from traditional to modern assumptions, capturing the identity crisis this shift has created. The protagonist, Okonkwo, embodies the tension between deeply rooted African values and the overwhelming influence of Western colonial forces. Now, his tragic downfall illustrates the fragility of cultural identity when confronted with rapid and often violent societal change, right? Okonkwo's inability to adapt or resist the encroaching forces highlights the profound challenges African societies face in reconciling authentic cultural frameworks with the foreign ideals of modernity imposed upon them. So, Achebe's novel underscores how colonialism and westernization disrupted African societies by introducing new systems of knowledge, governance, and values that clashed with indigenous traditions, right? So, Western ideals often dismissed African epistemologies as primitive or inferior, erasing traditional wisdom and alienating educated elites from their cultural roots, right? This disconnection fostered a dual reality, the pressure to adopt Western norms for progress and survival while striving to preserve cultural authenticity. So Nyamnjoh critiques this Western-centric modernity for its relentless focus on scientific knowledge, technical efficiency, and consumerism, which has granted humanity unprecedented power, but also imposed significant responsibilities. This imbalance has led to ecological degradation, cultural erosion, and social fragmentation. Though modernity promises progress, it often leaves societies spiritually and culturally depleted, unable to fill the void created by the erosion of traditional values, right? And the relentless pace of change, fueled by technology, globalization, and cultural homogenization, has further fractured traditional structures, leaving individuals disoriented and societies destabilized. Modern systems, while essential in many respects, often fail to provide the cohesion and sustainability that traditional frameworks once offered. And this tension manifests as a profound sense of spiritual and material exhaustion. Yeah. And as societies struggle to balance the preservation of their cultural identities with the demands of an ever changing modern world, a key challenge lies in the conflation of modernization with westernization. Modernization involves adopting technological advancements and social reforms to enhance societal development, whilst Westernization imposes foreign cultural norms that frequently conflict with indigenous traditions. Now, this conflation places African societies under dual pressures, right, to modernize for progress while resisting the cultural erosion caused by Westernization. As Achebe and Nyamnjoh both illuminate, modernity's gains often come at the cost of cultural and spiritual fulfillment. The path forward, I think, requires critical reevaluation of what true progress means, one that can integrate technological and societal advancements without sacrificing the rich heritage and wisdom of traditional African frameworks. Nyamnjoh advocates for an inclusive approach to modernity that acknowledges the interconnectedness of lived experience and the inadequacies of Western frameworks by embracing incompleteness and drawing on diverse wisdom. African societies can cultivate a more holistic and sustainable future. Yet the way forward remains uncertain. And how can African societies balance the wisdom of the past with the demands of the present? How do we ensure that the lessons of incompleteness and interconnectedness are not lost in the quest for progress? How can modernization be pursued without succumbing to the erasure of cultural identity imposed by Westernization? These questions compel us to reflect deeply on the challenges and opportunities of modernity, urging us to consider new ways of navigating an ever-changing world while preserving the richness of our cultural heritage. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Izuka. I really appreciate your presence and for giving up your time to listen. If you have any thoughts on what we've discussed, please don't be shy to put them in the comment section so that we can all continue and continue to have these conversations together. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you on our next episode.